there, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about Altered States, which is a film by Ken Russell, where he actually gets studio backing from Warner Brothers for the first and last time in his life. Now, Ken Russell is the enfant terrible of 60s and 70s British film. He just did what he wanted. He offended certain critics. Certain critics can't stand him. Our critics love how outrageous he is. He made The Devils, which I did a video on. It's a really good film. He's done a variety of other films. I'm still trying to catch up with his films. So this is my start to try and catch up on some Ken Russell films. He made one of my favourite guilty pleasures, A Lair of the White Worm. So, I mean, he's a director who knows when he's being ridiculous. You know, and he doesn't mind ridiculousness. That's fine for him. Just don't be boring. I think that's his main motto, is do not be boring. And Altered States became a production issue because of that motto. So Paddy Chayefsky, who wrote Network, The Hospital, and a variety of big films and TV plays, and he was one of the big respected writer guys who had a lot of power because people looked up to him, and he was just like one of those writer stars of the period. He wrote this because he was interested in various mind expansion drugs and variety of states of mind, and based a lot of hippie stuff, and he tried to take it seriously. So he wrote a script that I think if you did not have Ken Russell direct it, it would have been laughable. Because you needed someone who understood the absurdity of it to actually say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make this fun. So you'd the writer thinking he's about a serious thing about someone taking all these weird drugs from India and from these like South American Indians have shown him what this drug is, and he's synthesized it, and he's doing like sensory deprivation tanks and everything else. And he thinks he's doing a serious film, which, looking back from what we know now about all this stuff, is like, that's absurd. This is just like, just hippies taking themselves too seriously. But he took it seriously. Ken Russell was brought in to replace Arthur Penn. Arthur Penn had prepped the film, he'd cast the film with William Hart and Blair Brown, and then he fell out with Chayefsky over something to do with the script. Probably he was starting to realise this script makes no bloody sense. You know, it's like, I probably woke up one day and went, what the hell am I directing? Maybe he wanted some explanations that made sense. So, he left. Ken Russell was brought in. Ken Russell didn't have much respect for Chayefsky, and they clashed. Apparently he was differential to start with, but pretty soon he pushed himself forward to try and make sense of how to do this thing where a guy reverts into being a caveman at one point and goes on a rampage. And it looks like Trog from the film Trog. It's a ridiculous film. But it's like, it's a film with, it's a script with lots of hokum mixed with lots of philosophy. And I think it's an impossible to make film. There's no way to make this serious. So the producers did the smart thing and hired Ken Russell. Because he can do crazy shit and make it understandable to the viewer as, this is crazy shit, you just enjoy it. And that's what he did with this film. Like, it's made by a guy with perfect knowledge of, this is absurd. This, what I'm doing here is absurd. Okay then, let's have fun with it. And that caused Chayefsky to actually get banned from the set, from what I gather, or ban himself from the set and walk away and change his name off the script. And because he died a year or two later, Joe Esther has said that Ken Russell killed him by the much stress he put him through. And it was like, I don't think that's true. I really don't think that's true. If you write an absurd script and someone points it out, that's not them putting you through stress, that's them saying, let's try and make it work, and there's a different kind of movie than you expect. So, the film is about a guy who is he's interested in all sorts of science. He's a scientist who, as in movies, he is researching stuff that you'd be like, do you actually get money to research this stuff? Like, who do you have to con to get research this stuff? Because the movie is allowed. In real life, I'm sure they'd be much more exact about what you expect from the outcome of this, unless you'd someone giving money not caring. So, Hurt plays a guy who's obsessed by God and finding God within ourselves. He doesn't believe in the traditional God. He's an arrogant bastard throughout the film. William Hurt's perfect for that reason. But Hurt's a good actor, and he plays well against Blair Brown, who plays the woman who becomes his wife, and then she becomes his ex-wife because he finds having a family stifles ideas, and he wants to be alone to actually experiment to find God or something. And it's like, none of this makes sense as something that can get funded. None of it. But you're meant to say, oh yeah, this is logical. It's like, I'm not sure it is. I think this is just weird Hollywood stuff. But, so you get a lot of philosophical conversations between Hurt and Blair Brown, which are done well, and because Ken Russell directed, he didn't mind throwing in nudity just for the hell of it. And the actors seem to be game, as long as certain parts are hidden, that they seem to be game. And it does play up the idea of these two people are very close to each other and they're very comfortable with each other. And the sexuality on board within the film is of people who are mature adults, even if Hurt's character is like a child sometimes, is a person. And the film just goes into the idea of he starts to, but by going to the South American Indians and finding this drug and taking some of it back and synthesizing it, he thinks he can revert back to into the genetic nature, like to genetic memories within us, well before Assassin's Creed. And this version of it's just as absurd as Assassin's Creed, but at least Assassin's Creed knows it's absurd. This one doesn't. And the idea he starts to trip and have all these trips and memories of the past, as if, like, your genetic code holds memories. It's a science fiction written by someone who doesn't understand science. Is the best way to put it. Or has a very weird grasp of science being something akin to the supernatural. And it's just absurd and silly, and every time they try to take the science seriously, it's like, what, really? Were people this stupid in science in the 70s? I don't think they were. They were doing a lot of good stuff, so this just feels like it's just trippy for the sake of being trippy. But as soon as they start doing hallucinations, Ken Russell is in his field. He gets a lot of special effects to play with, and he has fun with them. And you have some crazy images of crucifixions and things that people would call blasphemous, because Russell loves all that stuff. And it's just trippy as hell, and Russell's having a ball. And you're watching just, they'll let the director just go off and do his thing. And it's a riot. And it's like, I know they're trying to do a serious film, but I can't connect to the serious bit of the film. I can just connect to the, oh man, that's weird. That's a weird thing he's doing. And the whole film just becomes a total weird trip. And basically it is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's what it is except that Dr. Jekyll behaves like Mr. Hyde most of the time when he's normal, and seems a lot more civilized even when he's a monkey than he ever is when he's William Hurt. Because William Hurt's character is a total dick in this film. He's horrible. But very enjoyable, because it's like, again, the director seems to know what his actor's doing, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. Be horrible. And it's just so much fun, but it's fun in a kind of guilty pleasure way. In a way that it's like, this is one of the last, like, auteurs making a film that feels like they were high for most of the film. This is John Boorman 70s stuff like Zardoz or Exodus 2, or what you'd get in Paul Schrader with Cat People a couple of years later, where it's just like, give this weird guy lots of money and let him trip out on screen. That's what the film is. And it's like, yeah, there's weird fun ideas. It's not exactly coherent, but who cares? And the funny thing is, this film was made by Warner Bros., who made The Heretic, Exodus 2 Heretic, a couple of years before, were burnt by that, and they invested money in this after that. Which is like, someone owed someone a favour. Like, this is just weird how this worked. I think the person who owed a favour was Chayefsky, and he quit. They were already in the film at that point. So, it's just a weird trip of a movie. It's just so strange. But it's one of those ones that's like, I always kind of been put off it because of, I'd read a few interviews with Chayefsky and he seemed so self-serious about it. So when I finally watched it this month, it was like, oh, this is so much fun. I wish I'd watched this years ago. So I'm definitely watching this again, but not for the reasons that the author intended, you know. But it's just that as soon as you have a guy regressing to being a monkey, to being an ape man and running around, an American city, it's like, you've got me. You can do no wrong after that. In the end, he's William Hurt, even though he's just getting high and doing sense deprivation, he somehow gets down to his molecules and his body spacing out in strange ways, and he can transfer this to his wife as well, and it's just so trippy and weird. It's like, Jesus, what were they on when they decided to do this film? So it's high recommendation for that. A so batshit film that you're gonna have a lot of fun with. You don't have to take any of it seriously, because it's just crazy. Right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you later.